No. She won't be.
Good evening and welcome to tonight's meeting this Tuesday, June 18th. We'll begin with invocation by Sarah Fowler, Executive Director of United Way, and followed by the pledge led by myself. Please rise.
Please join me in this prayer. Bow your heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you today as a community here for the City of Hot Springs for the Board of Directors. We come here today with CCMC and the poverty initiatives that they have done across this community in partnerships with other organizations. We pray for the leadership of the community that we all live, work, and play in here in Hot Springs, and pray that this meeting goes according to your will and your way, and you be with everyone today as they leave this meeting on their journey home and the rest of their week. And we pray this in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll call this meeting to order. Please call the roll.
Holiday.
Here.
Jones.
Here.
Clark.
Here.
Weatherford.
Here.
Garcia. Volley.
Here.
McCabe.
Here. This time we'll consider approval of the agenda. Are there any additions, deletions to the agenda or items to be moved from consent agenda to new business? Motion to approve.
May I?
Director Jones.
Second.
Seconded by Director Weatherford. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Agenda is approved. Consider approval of the minutes of the regularly scheduled meeting of June 4th, 2019. Any additions, deletions, or corrections to those minutes as presented? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion. Director Foley.
Second.
We got a motion and a second to approve the minutes as presented. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved. Recognition of guests. This time I'd like to call Lynn Blankenship forward, Executive Director of CCMC, for a reading of for the receipt of the proclamation, which I'm going to read, regarding community commitment to poverty reduction. Whereas the City of Hot Springs and area agencies, organizations, and businesses find that too many citizens are living in poverty without adequate means to reach self-sufficiency, and whereas having citizens living in poverty reduces the quality of life for all members of the community and creates issues of homelessness, hunger, and mental and physical development impairment, all of which only perpetuate poverty. And whereas perception of those in poverty or receiving public assistance by those not in such circumstances tend to reflect attitudes and stereotypes that attribute to poverty to personal failings rather than socioeconomic structures in systems, and often ignore strengths and competencies among those in these groups. And public policy and anti-poverty programs continue to reflect these stereotypes. And whereas the social costs of poverty hinder strengthening the workforce and building a more prosperous, sustainable, and vital community, which are paramount public purpose for consideration. Whereas it is appropriate and necessary for citizens living in poverty to have a voice on health, social, and economic issues that affect their plight. And whereas this community must collaborate with programs designed to assist individuals living in poverty in their transition to a state of self-sufficiency in an effort to reduce social costs associated with poverty, improve education attainment and job skills, and build sustainability for individuals, families, and the community. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Pat McCabe, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the state of Arkansas, do hereby proclaim a community commitment to poverty reduction for the City of Hot Springs by better understanding poverty and remediating its effects, working collaboratively with agencies, organizations, and businesses, as well as directly assisting citizens living in poverty. This will be done to reduce poverty and improve the quality of life for all citizens throughout this community. And witness whereof I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the city to be affixed on this 18th day of June in the year of our Lord 2019.
Not bad, man.
Great job.
I just want to express my gratitude to the city, to our community partners who have come to support us in helping address the issues of poverty. It's going to take all of us coming to the table in a collaborative effort, and this is a springboard to help us get there. We are looking forward to great things from this point forward, and we look forward to your support in that as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Would all those who were here, would you please rise? All those who were here earlier for picture taking, would you please rise in support of this proclamation? Thank you. Thank you very much. Appreciate all that you do in the community. This time we'll hear from Mr. Bill Burrows, our city manager, for the city manager's report.
Well, thank you, Mayor and members of the board. It's been, the last couple of weeks have been learning for quite a few of us. We were 3 days over in Little Rock at the Arkansas Municipal League Conference, and we learned quite a few things from those sessions over there, from ADA compatibilities to opportunity zone funds and a wealth of others. So I appreciate the board and your attendance there. I think they're very important as we move forward within our city. Director Holliday has been very busy meeting with different members of the department head staff regarding their departments and through an orientation into the city. I've heard great comments back from the department heads, so we appreciate you taking the time to get to know them a little bit better in the city services. We had a wonderful grand opening. Several of us drove back for the grand opening of the Reverend Donald James Rice Park. That was a great success, a joyful event, a collaborative success between the city and the residents and the leaders in the Gateway community. We were honored to have Reverend Rice's family and friends in attendance, including his daughter, Donella, who gave a really wonderful, inspiring speech. If you were there, you got to hear some dynamic speech from her. The city's Parks and Trails Department, you guys just did a fantastic job on the park. 2 weeks ago when it was raining and muddy and we were looking at it, we're like, we're never going to get this thing ready for the opening. And that crew, they worked throughout the rain, laying sod. They never gave up on it. And when you go by Pleasant Street and you see that pocket park right behind the police station, which will serve as really a catalyst for a lot of our officers to be able to have some pickup games and meet some of the youth within the neighborhoods. I mean, it's really going to be a great thing. So we're very proud of that, and just want to say thank you to the Gateway community and all of those that worked on that through our Parks and Trails Department. City's adding an Instagram and a Flickr account. I didn't know what Flickr was, but evidently you can put a lot of photos on there. So if you want to see the pickup game between Director Jones and our Mayor McCabe at the opening of the Donald James Rice Park, then click on that. We've got some pretty good shots of them playing a little bit of basketball. Last thing, Mayor, Hot Springs Police Department, in conjunction with the Garland County Sheriff's Office, we've conducted our first 2 teen police academies over the last week. The Hot Springs Police Department was excited to spend time. We had 15 students that from all over the county that participated in developing a relationship with each one of them, letting them know what our law enforcement does, and really talk to them about a career in law enforcement. So we were very pleased with the turnout for our first teen academies. So that's my report, Mayor. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much. This time we'll hear from individual directors on upcoming events. Any director? Yes, please proceed.
I have one. Just a reminder that the free homebuyer class is going to be this coming Saturday, June 22nd, from 9:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. at Transportation Depot. It's a free homebuyer education class sponsored by the Community Development Block Grant, CBDG, as you hear us say all the time. The eligible graduates of this class, again, this is just for part of a day, can qualify for up to $10,000 down payment and closing cost assistance through the Arkansas Development Finance Authority. Registration is required. You call 501-372-2611, and lunch is also provided.
Thank you very much, Director
Ma'am.
Clark. Oh, Director Jones.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Oh, I want to add to the city manager. I saw police out there yesterday playing with some kids. They tore him up, but he had a good time. There's about 6 kids, and he alone against them.
Oh.
But that was so nice to be able to watch him. At 11 a.m. on June 27th, at the Greenway Trail, there will be ceremony honors for those who have donated money and time to the Creek Greenway Trail. So anybody that have time on June 27th, 11 a.m., remember. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Randy Fowler. Director Fowler.
Thank you, Mayor. The Hot Springs Police Department is currently accepting applications for police officers, and they're going to have an open house for those interested in joining the team. That open house will be at the Hot Springs Police Department on July 9th at 6 p.m. So if you're interested in being a police officer, July 9th, 6 p.m. could be the change of your life.
Very good. Thank you. Just a reminder that the red, white, and blue picnic is occurring, I believe, on the 4th of July on the Arlington lawn. It's put on by the Friends of the Park, the Friends of the National Park, and its proceeds go to help support the restoration of the Maurice Bathhouse. So we had a lot of participants last year. We're looking for a larger group this year, so put that on your calendar.
Red, white, and blue.
Any other announcements? If not, we'll proceed with the consent agenda. We have about 10 items on the consent agenda. These are routine in nature and do not merit discussion, but I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Director Weatherford.
Second.
Director Jones. All in favor of the consent agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Consent agenda is adopted. We have 6 action items under new business. The first is, as the city attorney read, resolution R19104 by title.
Thank you, Mayor. This is Resolution R19104, a resolution expressing support for improved reporting information from the Arkansas Department of Finance and Administration regarding local sales tax collection information. That concludes your reading. If you would, entertain a motion second to adopt and have discussion if any.
Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Director
Second.
Clark, seconded by
Folly.
Director Fowler. And staff report will be provided by Deputy City Manager Lance Spitzer.
Thank you, sir. I'll kind of kick this off, and I believe our city manager, he may have a little bit to add to it. So kind of for the public's benefit, the reporting information that the cities and counties receive from our Department of Finance and Administration, it's really lacks information if you're looking to run a city or a county operation. The sales tax information that is received, it is received on a monthly basis, and the reporting has from time to time gotten better over the years. However, it has relatively few useful bits of information in it. So one of the things that this resolution is requesting, and it's a joint resolution from the City Board of Directors along with Garland County Quorum Court, to request our Garland County delegation of the Arkansas General Assembly to put this high on their priority list to make changes to state law so that this information can be shared and should be shared with the city manager, the county judge, the finance director at both Hot Springs and cities and counties across the state. The information, to talk about a couple things, I think Bill's got a few that he'd like to add. The information that you receive, it's done by North American Industrial Classification System, so that's called a NAICS code. That's a very broad. If you're talking about grouping businesses together, it's a very broad grouping, and it's reported at that level. So really, if you're looking for specifics on why your sales tax collection could be dipping, could be rising, that particular information would be of very little use to you for that particular information. Also, there is a lag in the reporting that the collections are given to cities. So that's about a 2-month lag from reporting to when you actually get the money, the collections put into something that you can use. That really puts you at a disadvantage, because then you become somewhat of a weather forecaster. Was it rainy that month? Was there a large event? Was there an event that didn't happen? So really, that kind of puts you in a little bit of a guessing game. And those are just a couple of the points that come with it. But when you look at the reporting information that Arkansas cities receive, the reason that it's somewhat shielded from DF&A is because there is a statutory requirement that they not share specific sales tax payer information. The reason that is not to put a specific business at a competitive disadvantage against one another. So the information is not reported at the business level. And if there are certain rebates which come about from time to time, you really do not know if a company has claimed a rebate, because they also do have a 12-month look-back period. So that's a pretty long time to claim a rebate, and that also clouds the picture, if you will. And also, one thing to highlight, our surrounding cities, there's an administrative fee that is tacked on for the state to collect this local sales tax and then remit the funds to us. Arkansas has a 3% administrative fee currently, which in 2018 amounted to about $36 million for administration of that tax collection. The surrounding states, Kansas, Missouri, Texas, some charge no fee, others charge 1%, but they also do get a tremendous amount of information that's shared with them. So really, Arkansas pays one of the highest fees, but gets the least amount of information that's provided. But there is one more thing that is also of note. Whenever a sales tax increase is put into place by voters, the incremental portion that goes up, DF&A tax on that 3% to that incremental portion. So obviously they're not really doing a lot of more work for that incremental increase. So that's something of note with the road tax or the jail tax. The collection efforts are really minimal, but the information and the administrative fee does seem to be punitive in that regard. But the resolution before you will request our Garland County delegation to do all that they can to bring better reporting information to the board and to management to make better decisions. But that concludes my report.
Any questions of Mr. Spitzer?
Good report.
Very good. Well, we have one member of our community that signed up to speak on this issue, and Ms. Alice Marshall. Please come to the podium and state your name and your address, please, and we'd love to hear your comments.
Yes, my name is Alice Marshall, and I live on Crescent Street, and I understand that you all are making Langston part of the block grant, and I would like to see the whole District D a part of the block grant, you know.
Okay, Ms. Marshall, we're on a different subject now.
Oh, I thought that's what you asked me. That's what I wanted to talk about.
Let me put you on
It's already
item that is.
Could be 12.
It'd be
Yes,
your
Item 12.
It'd be your next item.
That'll be the next item.
Okay.
I'm sorry, you signed up on item 11. We'll put you on item 12 and bring you back, okay?
All right.
Thank you. Any discussion amongst directors? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Holliday,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
Weatherford,
Aye.
Foley,
Aye.
McCabe.
Aye. Resolution is adopted. This time we'll consider resolution number R19-105 and ask the city attorney to read by title.
Resolution R19-105, a resolution adopting the 2019-2023 Community Development Block Grant Consolidated Plan. That concludes your reading, Mayor. If you would, entertain a motion and a second to adopt and have discussion, if any.
Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Director
Second.
Clark, seconded by Director Holliday. And we have Planning Development Director Kathy Selman.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. Good evening.
Evening.
This is our 5-year consolidated plan that helps to guide the community development block grant program for the City of Hot Springs. As an entitlement grantee of the Community Development Block Grant, funds from the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development were required to prepare and submit this plan. It describes local housing, community, and economic development conditions and needs. It serves as a 5-year strategic guide for decision making. It was developed using a wide range of census data, extensive public input, and information from other plans, such as the Downtown Economic Development and Redevelopment Plan and the recent Analysis of Impediments to Fair Housing Choice study. The proposed 2019 to 2023 consolidated plan goals are largely the same as in the previous plan to revitalize low and moderate income neighborhoods, support decent, affordable housing initiatives, encourage business and job growth with targeted infrastructure improvements, further fair housing, strengthen neighborhoods and subgrantees, and improve continuum of care efforts serving homeless and at-risk populations. One new goal has been added in this consolidated plan to support strategies that will stabilize and grow the Gateway and Langston Garden neighborhoods. In late February, HUD released updated census block group data that is used to identify and determine the eligibility of CDBG projects that benefit an entire area. And those projects would be something like sidewalks and public parks. CDBG projects that would benefit an entire area must be located in a census block group that is at least 51% low to moderate income households. Based on HUD's new data, a formerly low to moderate income census block group that comprises half of the Gateway neighborhood north of East Grand from Pleasant to Convention and half of the Langston Gardens neighborhood south of East Grand from Malvern to Cypress is no longer occupied by 51% low to moderate income households and therefore does not qualify for CDBG area benefit projects. And I really want to emphasize this is a federal regulation based upon federal information from the U.S. Census. So the determination of eligibility is not in your hands, unfortunately. CDBG funds can still be expended in Gateway and Langston Garden for other eligible CDBG projects like affordable housing and economic development to have a more targeted beneficiary. The low to moderate income household block group change is due to a 51% decrease in occupied homes from 655 during the 2000 census to 335 in the 2017 American Community Service Census Estimate from Housing and Urban Development. The exact status of each vacant home is not available from the census, but observations and conversations with community lead us to believe they are not for sale, they're not for rent, and some may be held in estates by out-of-town heirs, and we are researching this further. In the meantime, Langston Gardens and Gateway leadership have been discussing strategies to encourage occupancy of vacant homes. Since the consolidated plan is due no later than June 25th, and plans to address housing vacancies will take time, a high-level, flexible goal to grow and stabilize this census block group was created. While each of the proposed consolidated plan goals is listed separately, they are interrelated. Housing, jobs, and a healthy environment create strong communities in which residents can live, work, and play. And that is the overarching goal of the 2019-2023 Consolidated Plan and the Community Development Block Grant Program. The plan was made available for public review beginning May 20th. No written comments have been received. The Community Development Advisory Committee held public meetings in May and June to discuss the plan and hear public comment, and the committee unanimously recommended the plan to the board for consideration. And I really, at this point, need to commend your Community Development Advisory Committee. They are volunteers. They spend countless hours reviewing applications, determining eligibility, and reaching out to the public to assure that the recommendations that they make to you are indeed in the public's interest. I also want to commend our Community Development Block Grant Administrator, Michelle Sestilli, who has, for the past several years, created one of the strongest public outreach programs of any CDBG program in the state of Arkansas. We are very lucky to have Michelle doing this work for us. In conclusion, the consolidated plan does not impact the general fund, and that's all I have to tell you about this. I'd be happy to answer questions.
Selman?
I would just like to commend her. You've been working on this for a long time,
Thank you.
and you have gone step by step by step with it. And I understand what's going on with the vacancies. I knew years ago what would happen in case the percentage dropped. And Gateway is working. We're going to come up with something.
Absolutely. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. This time we'll hear from Miss Alice Marshall. Miss Marshall?
Yes.
Could you just come forward and state your name and address for the record, please?
My name is Alice Marshall, and I live on Crescent. And next, what she mentioned about Langston Garden. What areas around Langston Garden would they be, including? Will it just be Palmetto, or, now that we kind of, got situated about the block grant around Langston? We'd like to know what areas they're going to make improvement on, because it could just be Palmetto, Silver Street. We'd like for them to think about Crescent and other areas. Well, just area 2, District 2, I'm sorry. So that was my concern.
Very good. Well, please feel free to reach out to Director Selman or Michelle Sestilli, and they'll be happy to go over the map and what the area of focus is. Thank you.
Mayor, if I could, I just want to say that this is June 2019. We have a census count in 2020. I can't emphasize how important that is to not only your individual neighborhoods, your individual districts, whether that's District 2, 1, any of the districts. That census count is extremely important data that it will be here for the next 10 years, and a lot of decisions from federal to local are made by those census counts. It's very important to your city, as well as when we look at state turnback, they look at those census numbers. So that is one thing that every citizen can do, is encourage your neighbor and your neighbor's neighbor to make sure that they're included in that census count in 2020. It's vital. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any discussion amongst directors? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Jones,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
Weatherford,
Aye.
Foley,
Aye.
Holiday,
Aye.
McCabe.
Aye. Resolution's adopted. This time we'll give consideration of Resolution R19-106, and ask City Attorney to read by title.
Resolution R19-106, a resolution approving the fiscal year 2019 Community Development Block Grant CDBG Annual Action Plan. That concludes your reading, Mayor, if you would. Entertain a motion second to adopt and have discussion, if any.
Motion to adopt, Director
I so
Fowler.
moved. Second.
Seconded by Director Jones. And once again, the Kathy Selman Show continues. Director of Planning and Development.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, we know from the previous item that the city is an entitlement city and receives federal funding annually from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. As a grantee, HUD requires the preparation and submission of an annual action plan, which serves as the city's one-year implementation strategy describing how federal funds will be used to meet local goals and objectives. We were happy to hear in April that our allocation for 2019 be $450,010. The projects and expenditures described in the annual action plan are based on that prioritized list of projects that you adopted on February 5th in Resolution 9371. And that specified that projects would be funded in priority order up to the amount of funding allocated by the Department of Housing and Urban Development. 17 of the 19 applications received appear to be able to be funded. The 2 projects that cannot be funded right now will be placed on hold to be reconsidered should additional funding become available in 2019. The annual action plan was made available for public review online and in the Planning and Development Office on May 20th. It was advertised in the Sentinel Record, by press release, on social media, and at 7 public events. The Community Development Advisory Committee held meetings on May 21st and June 6th to discuss the plan. 10 residents attended. No written comments have been received. The Community Development Advisory Committee unanimously recommended the annual action plan for your consideration. Projects included in the annual action plan support the objectives of the consolidated plan to create suitable living environments, promote affordable housing initiatives, and to provide support to the continuum of care. The plan is due no later than June 25th, and there is no impact to the general fund.
Very good. Any questions of Director Selman? Thank you. We had no member of the audience sign up to speak on this issue. Any discussion amongst directors? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Clark,
Aye.
Weatherford,
Aye.
Foley,
Aye.
Holiday,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
McCabe.
Aye. Resolution is adopted. This time we'll consider Ordinance 1922. Now entertain a motion to suspend the rules and read by title only.
So moved.
Second. Director Weatherford made the motion. Director Clark made the second. All in favor of the motion to suspend the rules, read by title only, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Council, please read by title.
Ordinance 01922, an ordinance awarding Schindler Elevator Corporation as sole vendor, awarding a contract for the installation of an elevator at the Exchange Street parking deck, and for other purposes. That concludes your reading, Mayor. If you would, entertain a motion second to adopt and have discussion, if any.
Very good. Motion to adopt.
Move.
Director Jones,
Second.
seconded by Director Weatherford. And Mr. Denny McFate, Director of Public Works. Welcome.
Thank you, Mayor. Members of the board. In early 2002, the city constructed the Exchange Street parking deck that included a single elevator. Due to increased ridership of the one existing elevator and occasional mechanical downtime, staff recommends the purchase and installation of a new second elevator to the parking deck. When the parking deck was originally built, there was a second elevator shaft that was designed and constructed as part of future anticipation of expansion. So that part of the project already exists. The existing elevator, software, and mechanical components are Schindler brand elevator components, and the city wishes to enter into a contract with Schindler Elevator Corporation of Little Rock as a sole source vendor in order to maintain the same supplier and technical support from Schindler. Schindler Elevator of Little Rock is the only Schindler dealer in Arkansas,
and the city has been pleased with the Schindler equipment and service as up to date. The cost of the system is $151,416 and was budgeted in the 2019 Parking Department budget. Are there any questions?
Questions of Mr. McFate? Thank you.
Thank you.
Needed this for a long time.
And we had no member of the audience sign up to speak on this item. Any discussion amongst directors? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Weatherford,
Aye.
Foley,
Aye.
Holiday,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
McCabe.
Aye. Ordinance is adopted. This time we'll consider ordinance number 01923. And I'll entertain a motion to suspend the rules and read by title only.
So moved.
A motion by Director Clark. Seconded by Director Foley. All in favor of the motion to suspend the rules and read by title only signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The council, please read the ordinance by title.
Ordinance 01923, an ordinance waiving competitive bidding, authorizing the purchase of certain real property, parcel 52-159, located along Hot Springs Creek. That concludes your reading, Mayor. If you would, entertain a motion second to adopt and have discussion, if any.
Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Director Weatherford,
Second.
seconded by Director Holliday. And again, Denny McFate, Director of Public Works, will provide a staff overview.
Thank you again, Mr. Mayor. The Mulligan family, owners of parcel 52-159, which is approximately 2-acre parcel and is located along Hot Springs Creek off of Winans and Golf Links Road. The owner has agreed to sell this certain property to the city. The property lies along the greenway and adjoins property that we already own on two different sides. The community benefits of purchasing this particular parcel is as follows. The entire property lies within a special flood hazard area, and the purchase of the property would mitigate any future development of the property. The city receives points for mitigation of flood-prone areas through its participation in the National Flood Insurance Program, and this helps contribute to our maintaining the Class 8 insurance rating, of which each class you drop from 10. Us being a Class 8, our citizens realize a 10% savings in their flood insurance premiums. This also protects vital city's green space within the community as Hot Springs continue to grow and develop, whereby trees and precious green spaces are diminished. This also provides a protective green corridor along Hot Springs Creek for wildlife to flourish from downtown Hot Springs to Lake Hamilton, which is in accordance with the city's green infrastructure plan. The property owner has signed an offer and acceptance in the amount of $5,750 for this 2 acres. Based on property purchased along the Hot Springs Trail route previously, the average appraised value acreage-wise has been between $5,000 and $7,000 per acre. So staff feels this price is a fair and reasonable request and recommends to purchase parcel 52-159 of approximately 2 acres in the amount of $5,750, and the funds are available in the 2019 stormwater budget. Any questions?
Very good. Any questions of Mr. McFate? Thank you.
Thank you.
We had no member of the audience sign up to speak on this item. Any discussion amongst directors? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Foley,
Aye.
Holiday,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
Weatherford,
Aye.
McCabe.
Aye. Ordinance is adopted. Our final action item of the evening is to consider ordinance 01924, and I'd entertain a motion to suspend the rules and read by title.
So moved.
Director Foley, seconded by Director Weatherford, to suspend the rules to read by title only. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion's approved. Council, please read by title.
Ordinance 01924, an ordinance approving certain changes to the street description of Fraser Street, amending ordinance number 4062, and for other purposes. That concludes your reading, Mayor. If you would, entertain a motion second to adopt and have discussion, if any.
Motion to adopt.
So move.
Director Jones, seconded by
Second.
Director Clark. Again, Mr. McFay, Director of Public Works, will bring us home tonight.
Thank you, Mayor. One last time. This is really a housekeeping ordinance for us. On April 30th, 1990, Ordinance 4062, accepting certain city streets as city streets for maintenance by the city. At that time, Fraser Street description was listed as from Grove to Gulfa. Recently, staff was alerted that this description was incorrect, that it actually goes from Grove to Cottrell Avenue. So therefore, staff's recommendation is approve the street description change and amend Ordinance 4062 so we can document this change in the city's master street index. Any questions?
No questions of Mr. McCabe?
I'm just curious, were there no 911 addresses in that stretch? Is that why
Yes.
that issue never came up since 1990?
I don't know the answer to that. There's been two different ones that's came up. This particular one and the last one that we've got recently has been due to Garland County's going through the 911 stuff with their new radio system, and they're going street by street in the city and the county and checking all the descriptions to be sure they're matching. And they've caught, this is the second one that they found for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We had no member of the audience sign up to speak on this issue. Any discussion amongst directors? Hearing none, please call the roll.
Holiday,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Clark,
Aye.
Weatherford,
Aye.
Foley,
Aye.
McCabe.
Aye. Motion or ordinance is adopted. At this time, we come to that part of the meeting where we have directors' items for discussion. Any directors have an item they'd like to bring forward? Hearing none.
Mayor,
Yes,
I
Director
move that
Jones.
we adjourn the meeting for tonight.
Got a motion to adjourn the meeting for tonight.
Second.
We have a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion is adjourned.
Yes.
One of these nights.